Thank you once again for being here with us. We're going to begin our talkback. We'll open it up to the audience momentarily, but just to get us started, I wanted to ask of the scholars if you could share why you pursued this project. What was your inspiration or motivation to pursue this particular topic that you decided to focus on?
Over spring break, I was kind of just brainstorming different project ideas, and me and my family were doing a little road trip, and my dad has the same set of Russian songs that me and my sisters grew up listening to on repeat during every single road trip. And when he first started playing them, I just kept thinking of this one time where me and my sisters were dancing in front of the TV, kind of watching these music videos, and I thought it'd be cool to kind of explore the idea of why I think of that and how important that is.
So I, for the past couple of years, have run the social media accounts for the theater here. And I just thought it would be interesting to dive deeper into the relationship that technology and this was specifically the visual arts, but just the arts have. Yeah.
For me, I grew up a ballet dancer and haven't gotten to kind of do that as much. So I knew that for my scholars presentation, I really wanted to include that. And kind of one of the deeper under the surface things of ballet is the toxic environment. So I decided I wanted to explore that. And I figured the best way was to do a very famous variation and then kind of explore the underneath that the audience doesn't usually see of ballet.
For me, the more I grow up, the more I see people moving around in my life, not leaving my life, but moving literally. And it's been hard to define where home is sometimes because all my family's all over the place. So I think I just wanted to explore that concept and see where it led me. And I tend to daydream a lot, and I go to the past when I daydream, and that's kind of how the memory thing came up.
Yeah, my songs were more I kind of envisioned it as a journal and just music. So again, I knew I was taking the class this summer, and I've been rapping now for 2 or 3 years with my boy Kevin. So I already told him at some point oh, I'm gonna have to make this EP. We're gonna have to start rapping about something real. So then as the time came by, I think I started actually kind of finding the message I wanted to bring and just the whole healing journey and all that. So and yeah, I don't know about what y'all think, but I think I over time did that pretty well. So.
For me was mostly curiosity where I would play my instrument without knowing what the history was behind it. So I wanted to explore that more with the scholars program here. And so I found my answers to most of it, and I think there are more research to come.
Thanks. So each of you did a deep dive on these projects, and during the process of working on these, was there anything surprising that happened for you in the work?
Yeah, so something surprising that I found out during my work was when I said that the 25-string instrument was made in 1980s, I thought that was really interesting that I was playing a really modern type of instrument. I mean, it's 40 years later, but at the same time, I think that's one of the instruments I know that's more modernized than other instruments like pianos and everything else.
Yeah, I'd say for me, most surprisingly, I ended up talking a lot more about my faith than I knew I would have, but I think it actually ended up bringing me closer to God, also closer to growing up and all that too, and also figuring out that it's a lot harder to make music in a trimester than I thought. I told our teacher I'm about to make a whole 10-song mixtape at the beginning of the year, and then over time okay, now this is a lot, especially when you talk about something real. It's a lot harder to tone in home what you actually want to talk about. So.
I think for me is how movement can hold meaning. During my piece, I went a lot to Noelle, our dance teacher, and she would be but what does that movement mean? Or this seems dreamy, or this seems sad. And so I had to explore a lot, do I want this to be slow or fast, or yeah. And another thing was lighting. I worked one day with Charles, but I learned a lot because he was telling me how green can make you look sick. And I was wow, I've never really thought of that, even though that's kind of the connotation of the color green, but I thought that was interesting.
For me, I have gotten the opportunity a lot to choreograph at Williston, but I've never choreographed this extensive of a piece and a solo. And it was very interesting. Like the process was a lot different from choreography on a bigger group of people, especially when it's supposed to hold more meaning. And like we really had to like take time to like think of a topic that we could really like explore with our movement. So yeah, it was kind of interesting to choreograph something with such a deep meaning and at the same time only have myself to fill the stage.
I have never written a play before, or really anything for the stage. I've written like screenplays for short films, and I assumed it would be very similar, but I realized quickly that it was honestly a lot different, and I spent like the first 2 weeks researching what a one-act play was and just formatting everything like that. And you know, you have to use a lot less detail when you're writing a play because you have to leave it up for different adaptations, for different versions to be made by directors. And so you have to leave those details to the person. And so it was a lot harder for me to get my creative vision out if I couldn't put everything I saw in my mind out on the page.
For me, it was surprising how weird it was to choreograph in a different language. I haven't really had much experience choreographing, and so to just jump into this project with very little experience and also choreographing a language that I don't actually speak, just my father speaks, it was very different and surprising.
Thank you, scholars. We'd love to hear from you, the audience. So if you have a question to one particular scholar or to all of the artists on stage as a cohort, raise your hand, I'll call on you and just try to project so that I can hear the question and repeat it on mic. Yes. Yeah.
Could you repeat your question one more time? Nah, you good. So I've listened to music my whole life. Like I think just like growing up, hearing like music from like my dad and all that, just in the car. And then I started like actually like rapping for real, like 2 or 3 years ago. Like again, I used to do it for like jokes, like freestyles with my friends. But then like we made a song my sophomore year, and then I think that's when I started actually, being in the studio. Like we like kind of built. There's a studio like music lab in Reed, and kind of like built that up to being like a whole like studio where like we were in there every day making music. So I think that's why I kind of like found my love for it. And then just like again going through different things and like okay, I go through all these things. Again, some people could relate to that, and so it's putting it into music over time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So a lot of you talked about anxiety and struggle and some pretty big themes in your dance. How do you think the art helps everyone heal and respond to some of those heavy, difficult things that we all are going through?
I'm just going to pass the mic down, and anyone who wants to address that can, okay?
I think for me, kind of I kind of researched for the first like 2 weeks on just like I've had my personal experiences with like the dance environment, but I think I wanted to kind of get others' perspectives on it. And I think it became very clear very fast that there was a whole community underneath that like I kind of in the back of my head knew existed, but I think arts can really bring people together, and especially like, I think even in this class, like all of us kind of collaborated like a lot, and we had like workshops where we gave each other feedback, and I think it kind of is helpful. You're working through something personally, and you're working through like feelings that you want to express through your art, but then sharing it with other people and like hearing their feedback, and like it's really rewarding to like have people actually understand what you're trying to express in a way. So yeah, I think it's a lot about community.
Yeah, I'd also say too, like with the music piece, like being able to, like again, for my situation, is being in the studio where I could just like be by myself and just rap, and it's almost like telling a story that even though like I'm not saying it to someone, it's at some point it's gonna get to people. It's very like liberating, feels nice, and then again, like Sadie said, just the collaboration piece, like we all like work together to like help each other like through the whole process. Like it's weird hearing yourself on and like on like a mic at first, but like after seeing like oh they like all of them liked it, I was like, oh no, like I could actually do something with this. So
I'll touch up on the part where you said how music or like the pieces we have shares to the world today. For music, I would say that music is a way to express feelings for many, and I think that for my piece, Arirang, it's been used as a piece to share and express feelings when Korea was under the Japanese rule. So I think music can say a lot of things about the today's world as well. And a modern hip hop artist like Kendrick Lamar's performance at the Super Bowl as well, I think that's a huge part about how music has been spread throughout today's world about just how the world goes. So yeah.
So I think art in general is a very shared experience. I think in the world, for anybody to live their life to its fullest, you have to feel emotion, and art expresses emotion, whether it's sadness, happiness. I think we saw it all today. You have to feel that from an audience and from the stage perspective. From the stage, there's a little bit more anxiety, obviously. But yeah, and it's never really done, so you're always building on it.
Do we have any other questions? We have time for maybe one more question from the audience. In the back.
no comment.
On that note, we thank you again for being here with us today. We'd like to remind you that tomorrow we have our Scholars Showcase in the Reed Campus Center starting at 6:30 and running until 7:30 p.m. You can connect with performing artists on stage today and follow up with any other questions that you have about their work. You can also meet a lot of our other artists and scholars in a variety of other subjects. Thank you so much and have a great evening.